Hey everybody, welcome to the Magic Weekly News Update for February 11th, 2018 on the Leek. I'm John as always, and we've got a bunch of news and speculation this week, as well as the second last Rivals of Ixalan story time. Up first, the final dual deck, Elves vs. Inventors, had its packaging and face cards revealed. The Inventors will be headed by Goblin Welder with new art, and the Elves will be fronted by Azuri, Renegade Leader, with new art. Interestingly, however, Azuri's card wasn't shown, as it'll be announced closer to release what's going on with it. If you look at the art for Azuri, there's two elf heads near the bottom that look totally out of place. Why would the artist make those elves and cut off basically the entirety of them? Speculation suggests that legendary creatures will start getting unique frames, most likely full art. So the art we were shown actually wasn't the entire art, just like the Planeswalkers, where the art is visible through the text box. Presumably as well, if this was just for the dual deck, they'd just have announced it in this article, which suggests this might actually be a bit more of a broad change, possibly being in regular sets as well. We'll have to see, probably in a month or two. Up next, the 2017 Canadian Highlander Championships were aired on Loading Ready Run's channel. These were the playoffs from the year-long season run at Yellow Jacket in Victoria, the de facto home of Canadian Highlander. If you want to see the highest level of Canadian Highlander play out there, make sure that you go and check out the playoffs. There were some amazing plays, some very cool decks, and if you do want to see some more Canadian Highlander content, stay tuned, as I'll be vlogging a local tournament that I'm playing in next weekend, and I am hoping to get some Canadian Highlander content on this channel a little more regularly. From completely out of nowhere, a Magic mobile game called Project M was announced. The game will be made by Netmarble, whose previous work includes the Star Wars Force Arena MOBA. For those who don't know, MOBAs are those games like League of Legends, Dota, Heroes of the Storm, where you play on a team of heroes fighting other heroes, trying to destroy the other's base first. There's been basically no information released other than a video with some very basic gameplay that looks like a pretty standard MOBA with MTG graphics on top of it. I've never really been able to get into any MOBA that I've tried, but I'll likely give this one a shot, but I do expect it to be just as disposable as most mobile games out there. MTGO had its annual State of the Program article, and it was honestly a little bit sparse compared to previous years, or at least my memory of previous years. The only real announcement was that all flashback drafts will be Phantom from here on out. This won't be too much of an impact because outside of a couple of sets, most sets were worth only a couple of cents more than zero anyway. Of course, you'll still get people complaining about $10 drafts where you don't get to keep the cards, but I've paid more for far less tangible things than 2 hours of entertainment. It's still cheaper than a movie, and as I often repeat in these news updates, Magic doesn't exist to make you money. You should look at it as an entertainment expense. If you make anything from it, if you get anything back, cool. But it should be your entertainment expenses. It shouldn't be an investment. It shouldn't be a money-making plan. Our first flashback draft will be Theros in late February, and Legacy Cube and Modern Cube will happen on either side of the Masters 25 release window. Beyond that, there was a tantalizing mention of Chaos drafts, along with more sealed events like the Battle of the Plains last year, which for those who didn't participate was a sealed event where you picked a plane that's been visited twice, got a bunch of packs from across the two blocks, and then played other people who may have chosen different planes. These are great ideas, especially as I love Chaos drafts, but there was literal nothing beyond them just saying they're exploring ideas. So unfortunately, a relatively sparse State of the Program article, but I am really waiting to hear more about those Chaos drafts. Finally, the big news this weekend was that the much-maligned FNM promo change is being rolled back. The FNM promo tokens are going away and actual cards are coming back. Now, I was in the minority who actually liked the tokens, and frankly, the tokens that I've received have gotten way more use than almost any FNM promo that I've ever won in the past. Sure, we remember Fatal Push, and we still remember the talk about Path of Exile and Serum Visions, even though that was going on 3 years ago now. The vast majority of promo cards are not that exciting or playable, and will just end up in a box somewhere. Giving away large quantities of desirable cards isn't in a company's best interest whose primary revenue stream involves giving you random chances at getting those cards. In addition, remember that FNM promos are really common. Those $30 to $60 Fatal Pushes that everyone was salivating over, and everybody remembers, oh, that time I won that $30 Fatal Push. Those Fatal Pushes are $9 or less now because they're all out in the wild. It's still a decent enough prize, but that's just not going to happen that commonly. Anybody who's expecting differently is gonna be disappointed. Beyond that, I'll remind you that if your LGS is charging you money for FNM and only giving you FNM promos, that's a problem with your store and you need to talk to them. Any store worth its salt should be providing more prizes than the stuff that Wizards gives them for free. When this whole promo change originally happened, one of the real big takeaways that I got is that there's a lot of really bad LGSs out there who don't know how to run tournaments. And that's not Wizards' fault. That's theirs. With the news out of the way, it's time for story time. Who Tells the Stories picks up with Jace, Vraska, and the Immortal Sun having left the plane. The group from the chamber above have fallen into the empty sanctum after the sun was ripped out from beneath them. Angrath, sensing his ability to leave, bellows out that he hates this plane, hates this city, and wishes everyone a viscerally painful death. "See you never, pathetic fools," he shouts like some sort of evil valley girl, and Plains walks away. Breaches and Malcolm decide running away is the best idea now that the sun is gone, and Elenda arrives a little bit late to find the sun gone. She identifies the sun is gone for good and tells Maverick, Fane, and Vona that they are now free with the sun gone. She tells them that finding true immortality was never their purpose and that they've forgotten what they are. She remembers Azor's command that they were to guard the immortal sun, not use it. When she arrived to Orazca, she found the immortal sun was guarded way more safely than they ever could have done, and so she sealed herself away until her people would arrive and she could show them the way and be free. After a brief argument, the three vampires leave, leaving only Tishana and Huatli in the sanctum. Tishana tells Huatli that the city still has power, even with the sun gone, and Huatli suggests the city belongs to no one and it should be shared. She'll return to the Empire and recommend a truce between them and the River Heralds, to which Tishana agrees. Huatli calls out to Zakama for a ride home. After a short walk, considering the massive scale of the three-headed T-Rex Zakama, Huatli arrives back at the Empire to tell the Emperor what happened and to recommend the truce with the merfolk. The Emperor tells Huatli that there will be a ceremony tomorrow and she'll be given the title of Warrior Poet, but that the story she told about how she found Orazca and what happened is not the story she'll tell tomorrow. If she tells them about working together with the River Heralds, they won't have the support they need for the military campaign against the vampires in the coming weeks. Huatli counters, telling them the vampires will have left by then, and conquering empty land that was the River Heralds before that simply isn't right. The Emperor tells her the ceremony will happen tomorrow, but there will be no oration at all. He will tell the people what happened at Orazca. The truth is determined by who tells the stories. Huatli returns to her family and tells them of her planeswalking ability, which they're amazed by and tell her that she needs to go explore. She's the warrior poet, she's meant to collect stories and histories, and the stories from other worlds are far more important and interesting than just the stories of Ixalan. Her family packs for her as she decides she'll go explore for a week and then return. "I'll be back soon," she says, as she planeswalks away to another world. And we all know she's not going to be gone for just a week. But that's going to wrap up story time for the week. That's going to wrap up the news for the week. We've got one more story time next week. I'm not entirely sure what it'll be about. I guess the only thing we have left is who finally controls the city, but we'll see what the next story is about. Let me know what you think about this news. Are you excited that the FNM promo cards are coming back? Did you watch the Highlander stuff? What's your speculation about what's happening with the Azuri card? Is it going to be something about legendaries? Are elves getting a special frame? What's going to go on there? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at TheManaLeek. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can also find me at Facebook.com/TheManaLeek, Twitch.tv/TheManaLeek, and Patreon.com/TheManaLeek. If you like the content, click that thumbs up button. Click subscribe if you want to see more. And if you do have questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.